Hey, gang. This is Pamela talking to you from her Jimmy Ellis channel this evening. It is almost 11 p.m. in my area, but I wanted to get on here for about 15 or 20 minutes and talk to you about what's coming up on this channel. Um, I'm hoping to document some of my Jimmy Ellis collection and maybe talk a little bit about something that a friend of mine did that was really, really nice. I'll have to bring it in here. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but this person went out of their way to get me something nice during Elvis Week down there at Graceland. Um, but you'll have to wait until probably sometime tomorrow or sometime Sunday. Um, I do have a lot of things going on this weekend. I got a big family thing this weekend, and it is a get together on my mother's side of the family. And this is the one time of the year I get to see her brother and other various family members. And it's very important that I go because I loved my mother very much. And I certainly adore her brother, who was always very nice and very comforting. I lost my mother, he lost his sister. So, the current project that I want to work on here, possibly by Sunday or starting Monday, is the CD that came with the book about Jimmy Ellis. It's called In the Shadow of a King. And it may still be available. Check my Facebook page to Jimmy Ellis. I'll link it below in the video. You can go over there. There's a link taking you to an official website for Jimmy where I got the book. It's a bit pricey, but I think the price is well worth it. I haven't had time to read it yet, but I think this hog roast that I'm going to be having with my extended family over this weekend, I'm going to take that book. And when I get a moment away and have time for a bit of peaceful reading, I'm going to take a chance and sit down and read that book. But I did get a gander at the pictures. Pretty amazing. The book is really nice. The binding is tight and solid. If you like the smell of new books, you'll like the smell of this book because it's really crisp and clean, and the pictures are amazing. Even though it'll talk about probably his humble beginnings up through meeting that snake, Shelby Singleton, up through the barn parties that he had. Used to be able to hold some pretty successful barn parties. I want to read about that. And it's going to talk about his untimely death, but I think I'll skip that chapter because I don't want to give the creeps that took him away at the age of 53, I don't want to give them the time of day. But aside from the great pictures and probably a gigantic, wonderful story to come out of it, it's got a CD with a bunch of tracks on it. And I heard some of those tracks, and it sounds amazing. Whoever put this book together, I commend you for doing such a big project. And from what I hear, it took 11 years to see it from maybe a pet project to the finished product. That is a labor of love right there. That is done from a mega fan. And like I always tell people, I'm the new kid on the block here. I'm just wanting to learn more and more about Jimmy, find and maybe see some performances that I've never seen before. Um, Jimmy was a one-of-a-kind talent, and we'll never have another one like him again. You know, it's sad that not just Shelby and whoever was behind the stupid mask thing, but anybody that refused to play his music because he sounded like Elvis Aaron Presley had their heads up their horse's patoot. It's not fair. Not fair to him. I mean, there are other people out there that sound like significant others. You know, Julian Lennon is one such example. Danny Harrison is another example of sounding like their particular something or others. And I think you know who in the world I'm talking about. I know my channel's small. I don't have much in the way of his CDs. I'm always looking. But with it being closer to holiday time, after I do these next few projects, I'm going to have to do some Christmas shopping and handle the stuff that people on limited income need to handle in terms of finding out what's going to be happening next year with my income and whether I'm covered for certain things or not. But don't lose hope on my channel yet. I mean, I'll get on here and talk about certain things, and I want to have a good, honest discussion about the feature film. We could even talk about Elvis and me and other various projects. I definitely want to have a good discussion about Elvis the last 24 hours. You know, I can't watch that one enough. But over the coming months, I'm going to be doing some reviews of a particular album that I do have, and I'm going to be showing you some of my Jimmy Ellis collection. I can't show you the book right now because it's out there in my living room on the ottoman, waiting for me to read it. But over the last couple of weeks, I have been sick with my sinuses and dealing with massive mosquito bites. I've been trying to get that garage in my house cleaned up, and every time I go outside, I get eat up by the bugs. Last weekend, I spent my weekend in bed, basically. You know, eating as much as I could and drinking a lot of water and trying to get myself hydrated and well enough for me to attend a family function, which is sometime this weekend. But enough about my plans for this weekend. I want to talk about some of his records. I have the movie about Jimmy. I'm going to see about maybe posting some scenes from that, but I don't know. I'm kind of leery about that. Because you know how the copyright owners are a bit stringent about things like this. But I definitely want to get my hands on that book, put it in my little knapsack to take it down to the picnic, and sit and read some of that sucker. I did get my new record player out of layaway today, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of those that has the tape deck and the CD player inside. Hopefully I'll be able to find a way to hook it up to my computer without taking it out of my room here. But I think I'll wait until mid to late October to hook it up. But we'll see. Because I got the Fresh album, the Gospel album, and I got both variants of the Reborn album. Even though I have Reborn on CD, I also have the coffin cover and the newly covered one with him actually in the picture. I'll show them on camera when I get time. It's just that my room's really a mess. And I really don't want to put my camera over toward the bed. Because believe me, I've got enough stuffed animals on it that could choke a cat. But I'm sorry for not being so busy on here. But, with my allergies giving me crap, and the summer heat giving me crap, and the many bug bites I have on my arms and my elbows, I'm doing about as well as can be expected. But I really want to see some discussion on my video about Jimmy and how I talked about his life and career. And I just wish I was one of those kids that actually knew about Jimmy when he was trying to build something up for his career. Because I know he was up here at Salina, Ohio for a concert. I bet you that would have been fun. But I'm always learning more and more about Jimmy. And I've met a couple of people that actually knew this guy. And it warms my heart, and yet it breaks my heart at the same time, because Jimmy was one of those guys that would sit there and sign autographs and hang out. But yet, the black cloud, as we know, the mask, always hung over this guy. But I heard that he would lift up that mask and reveal himself to a few people. But, even if he did tell me who he really was back in the day, I would never tell anybody. Because I think of him as like Superman, Jimmy Ellis has a secret identity. And that secret identity was Orion, which I think would be pretty cool. But people often mistook him as an Elvis impersonator. And my brother and I got into a heated argument over this. He says, I've seen that bits and pieces of that documentary that you watch all the time on Netflix. It drives me crazy. How could he say that he wasn't trying to be like Elvis when he was wearing jumpsuits like Elvis? And I fired back at him, and I said, he tried for years to get a career going. And when Shelby told him that if he didn't wear the mask, he could go back to Alabama and see if somebody else would be able to sign him. But then I said, by the time he was told that, I don't think he wanted to hear his parents say, more to the point, he didn't want to hear his stepfather say, I told you so. And as I said in my other video, he probably took on the mask because he didn't want to go home with his head hung low. And have to hear, see, son, I told you. The music business is a bunch of foolishness. But the one thing I will always admire about Jimmy was his ability to never give up. Keep trying, keep plugging. And if people really love this guy, they'll always be there for him, mask or not. I keep thinking about that question in the movie where the interviewer asks one of the band members, do you think it was a mistake for him to take off that mask? And the guy says, well, yes, if he wanted to keep on being Orion. No, for his own sanity. But if they asked me that question as to whether it was a mistake for Jimmy to take off the mask, heck no. Heck no. Because he's like, I'm going out there as me. That's all there is to it. People can either like me or leave me. I don't have to live behind a mask no more. You know? And I'm glad he shed that mask years ago. But like his son said, you can't turn down a gig because of pride. You got to make ends meet somehow. And with him being out of the walking horse game for so many years, he had to do something. He went out and did a few tours and opened up a package and pawn shop and did what he wanted to do. And I felt so bad when, he's like, well, I'll go back to the farm. I'll do a gig here and there. And hearing the people talk about that moment, I could feel his desire to make it big was starting to waver. And his son says, well, forget the fame. I want the fortune. And I feel bad for that. And I want to read more of that book to see what else I could find out. And from what I've seen so far of the book, it has been an amazing undertaking by whoever did this. I think part of me is nervous to even try to read the book. Part of me has been really busy or sick or have something else come up. But I'm going to take this weekend as a real chance to sit down and dig into that book. But I think the one chapter I'm going to stay away from is the chapter where they talk about his passing away. And I'd rather say passing away than what happened, because I don't want to give those a-holes the satisfaction of giving them a mention. I won't do that. But to whoever wrote that book, they say it took about 11 years to find pictures and find any papers or flyers or pics from fans to compile to the book. And I even seen photocopies of news articles about the barn parties that Orion would throw or Jimmy would throw. I bet you those were some barn parties. Like I said, I'm just the new kid here. I'm trying to learn about him, And from what I did read, I took a gander, and it says that some of his barn parties were pretty successful. So I guess he's a real good MC for a good party. I'm hoping that the book will give me some real insight to the guy and maybe learn about what he liked, what he didn't like. Maybe learn a little bit about his past, But from what I've seen of the book, it is pretty amazing, and I think you all should get out there and check it out. I'll post the Facebook page below so you can get to the link of where you can buy the book. Now, it's pretty pricey if you want it here in the United States. Mine cost me pretty close to $70. And it's worth every penny, because you get like a big giant size coffee table book. I mean, better yet, you could stand it up like you would see a book at the library. You could stand it up and set it like half open, like, the cover spread out a little bit. And it's a real nice display piece. But the big bonus here is not only the amount of pictures. You get a CD with it that is full of a bunch of songs that have never been released. I'm hoping to compile that into a video starting Sunday or Monday to all those songs and post it to the YouTube channel. I'm sorry I don't have much in the way of actual vinyl to be able to be put up yet. But I have all his albums in here in the bedroom. And I'm hoping to find a way to set up my record player so I can sit down. Once I get my room cleaned out enough, I could sit down, put the record on the turntable, and be able to convert it to a file that I could use on my computer here. I'm going to try and preserve my records so I don't have to go out and find the CDs if I can. But I'm hoping to be able to bring some vinyl of Jimmy's here on his Jimmy page, and I have other vinyl that'll go on to other channels, like some kids' records that I have. Jimmy's music is a part of history. I don't care what anybody says. Jimmy's music is a part of history, and I'm going to do my best to do what I can to get the songs, present them in a way that we could all enjoy. Maybe I'll do a best of or a version 2 of the Reborn album. But I don't know yet. I don't want to be repeating myself over and over and over again. That would be pretty stale. But I want to get some good conversation pieces going here. I want to hear stories from fans. You could post down below in the video, or I will do a video where you could talk about your memories with Jimmy. If I knew how to do like a commentary video with pictures that fans could send, or with pictures that I find, I could probably do it that way too. But for all the people that have subbed to my page on Facebook and my page on YouTube, thank you. That means a lot. Not just for me, but for his family. I want to be able to keep the flame going as long as I can. Not very many people with that voice anymore. Very few people can try to match that voice. But Jimmy's was 100% out of the ballpark real. But over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be trying to locate and find some other stuff. But I want to ask you guys a question. Should I add some Elvis material to this channel? I want to ask that question. Should I add the music, some of the music of Elvis Presley, or not? It's kind of a on the fence kind of thing, because I have very mixed feelings about that. But you have two voices that sound an awful lot alike, and I often tell people a voice like that just doesn't drop out of the clear blue sky. And Elvis was alive, and I'm sure the girls loved him, but the people that worked for him didn't appreciate him, I don't think. I mean, you get people like Colonel Tom Parker that use him, and just like what happened to Jimmy with Shelby, those two guys took those men, ran them into the dirt. One died at the age of 42. The other one died at the age of 53 at the hands of another man that only cared about the money filling his pockets and not sharing the wealth with Jimmy. I think one of his friends said right, The people in the business are only there for the bottom line. And his own son said, "It isn't for you, it's for them." THEM, the suits. Um, but I'm getting ready to get off here for the night. I want to let you all know that the new video will be starting sometime, probably Sunday or Monday, depending on how tired I am. I have a family get together to go to. And I will have to head to bed early Friday night, which will be about a half an hour. It'll be Friday. I'm going to be busy with family, and I'll probably be hanging out with them for a good portion of the day. And if I can get on Sunday for a couple of hours, I'll start work on my newest pet project. And hopefully I'll be able to show off some of the records that I have with Jimmy. But we're getting close to holiday time, and I got to concentrate on buying one gift for one member of my family this year. So the uploading may get a little slow from time to time, but the channel never goes away, and I'm always checking for new subscribers or anybody that has any questions. That is what this channel is for. Like I said, this channel is for the mega fans of Jimmy, and I welcome newcomers too. And if you feel like you're a fish out of water, some of these newcomers, don't be. I was the same way you were. I didn't know that Jimmy Ellis even existed. But once I saw the documentary, Jimmy Ellis, the man who would be king, it put things into a whole different ballpark. Be sure to check that movie out. And if you want the book, I will gladly put the link of my Facebook page, and look at the link that's attached to my Facebook for that. It'll take you to an official website for Jimmy where you can order the book. It has lots of pictures and a great story and a superb CD. I've heard some of it and trying to get a feel for the material so I'd be able to present it in a way that all his fans can enjoy. Well, gang, I'm going to get off here and get ready for bed. I'll do a better video sometime tomorrow or the next day talking about what I want done on this newer channel. Hopefully I can get on the ball and maybe do some of the work tomorrow. But I'll keep you guys posted. I'll even post my Facebook group if any of you guys want to join up to help follow the story of Jimmy. And I share a lot of videos that I find on YouTube over there to the Jimmy Ellis fan page. But have a good night, everybody. I'm sorry this is so lousy, but I'm tired, and I really wanted to get on here and let everybody know that I was still alive. Just because the activity on my end has slowed down, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop. I could be busy with family, and I've had some really bad sinus headaches here the last couple of days. So I got to go to a reunion this weekend too, so my plate's going to be pretty full this weekend. So I got family, and we're all going to get together and have a good time this weekend. And as I close this video out, enjoy the first full day of fall. I can't believe fall is finally here. Pretty soon we'll be getting in the spirit of wearing gloves, mittens, and hanging our Christmas trees. I was in the store today picking up my layaway and getting stuff for this hog roast. And I saw them putting out stockings and Christmas gear. It's not even the end of September, and they're already putting Christmas stuff in the stores. But I'll be back on as soon as Sunday night or Monday. So stay tuned and keep the flame flying for Jimmy. That's all I'm asking. Good night, everybody. New video coming up tomorrow.